Hey you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back to another Project Life Process video. In this video, I'm working on week 36 from 2017. So I'm just gonna go ahead and lay my photos out. This was one of those weeks that I was thinking I didn't have very many photos. And then the more and more I went back to look at what I had on my computer, the more I was like, oh my gosh, I actually have a ton. So I ended up doing an insert primarily because the specific photos were from the high school homecoming dance that my kids went to. And so I thought that it would be good to kind of section them out in their own thing because I didn't have enough space to put it in the actual layout. So that's why I ended up doing an insert there. So you'll see when I work on that coming up, just getting all of my photos cut up like I traditionally do and putting them in their places. I am also trying to decide what I want to use, what photo I want to use for the behind the September. I'm still using those from last year's Studio Calico. They're not doing that this, after August, they stopped doing it, but I had them from last year. So I'm using those ones up. Totally love it. I'm also using Ali Edwards' time kit. So I'm just going to plug myself for a minute and I hope you don't mind. But I am actually the guest storyteller on Ali Edwards' classroom for her story kit time. So I was really excited about the opportunity. So if you guys are subscribed to Ali's kit, definitely check that out. If you're not, what are you waiting for? This is a great kit. I absolutely love it. And you know from my other videos that I love Ali's products. So if you're on the fence, now is an awesome time to jump on board because this time kit's really great. So I used it in a spread that's going to be featured, featured as a guest, but I'm using part of it on this spread as well. You saw that I pulled over the chipboard set. I've got a few of those laid out, and then you'll see that I'll use some other things as well. That morning, afternoon, and evening card that came from the kit, I actually used it on week 37, which was the week that you'll see if you belong to the classroom. But I am going to use that, I'm using that side for this week as well. I love it when you can use one card for 2 weeks. It's just awesome. It's like one of my favorite things ever. So yeah, definitely go check that out. So I'm just moving things around like I normally do. I pulled over a bunch of my chipboards that I had from Ali Edwards. I think that was from her summer kit or just the summer products that come out during the summer. And I really was trying to move things around. The one chipboard that I really wanted to use, I think on the one with me and the kids, had something to do the best time with you or something like that. But I didn't like that was so close to the best of times, which is on the photo to the left bottom. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it's a constant moving things around until they feel good. That's how I do it. I feel like I do have some design sense, but I really just start moving things around until it feels good. And I'm like, okay, that's it. Totally feels good. So that's what I ended up doing here. One thing that I wanted to say throughout this video and just apologize. I have no idea why the lighting is so weird on this video. I feel like the quality feels really bad and it shouldn't, because it's not, it's the same quality as I normally do, but I think it was the light and it kept going. The sun kept coming and going. And for whatever reason, it was shining so much on that page protector that it has a really bad glare. And I apologize if I had realized that when I was working on it. I would have done something to fix it, but I didn't realize that. So I apologize. Obviously, it looks really good when the photos aren't in the page protector. So I wish I had caught that. Anyway, so I stuck on the September word And then I'm just going to be stamping it, and I'm going to leave it out for a minute just to let that ink dry a little bit. I feel like the ink dries a lot better on paper, and on photos I think it takes just a little bit longer. Then I found a card from Studio Calico that said favorite places, and I went ahead and wrote down some of the favorite haunts that Adam and I go to on a Friday or Saturday night when we're going to dinner together. It turns out that I had already done a card like that a few weeks ago, and so yeah, in the end, you'll see that I end up removing it. But it is a really great concept and something that would be fun to look at, because I'm sure in 5 years' times, I was going to say in 5 years, maybe we would go to different places. But, honestly, if we were still living here, we'd probably be going to the same places because they're so good. So I took a stamp set that came from, I think it was from the August Studio Calico kit. And I just stamped, it said snapshot, and I can't remember what was on the bottom, but I thought that would go perfectly with this snapshot of all these girls getting ready for homecoming together. I thought that was really cute of them. I thought that was fun. And there I am just writing a little bit of journaling, and that's the back side of the other card. I ended up taking out that wood veneer so I could write on it easier. I just picked a day. I can't remember which day it was. And I just wrote about the morning, the afternoon, and the evening. And I think the morning portion was about the December daily, which I thought was kind of a fun thing that would be remembered, because I really love December daily. And I had it on my calendar. I had my timer set because I really wanted to get the products that I wanted. So I thought that would be fun to add, just a memory to add as well. Then I just took that card. It says this on the top. I think it came from Allie Edwards Detail Kit. And I really loved that. I used the back side of it for the other, I guess it would be week 35. And so I liked that I could use this side as well. So I'm working on this last photo. Now, I don't know why I didn't just print this out as a 4x6. When I'm looking at, later, I was like, why didn't I just print it out? It's with my phone, and typically when I take pictures with my phone, I don't normally print them out as 4x6s. I don't know why. It's just kind of a habit. Normally the photos that are 4x6s come from my Canon. So I think it was just a habit that I did that, and for no other reason. And I guess it's fun to have a little bit more product, and that I was able to get that story told, just about me and my husband taking a bike ride one evening together, which was so much fun, except for the fact that I live on a mountain, so it was a killer workout. I was wearing jeans, and I should have been wearing workout clothes, because it definitely was a workout. All right, so the main portion is finished, and so the next thing that I'm going to go to is my insert. So I just pulled over this 6x8 album that I have, and it's got all of my 6x8 inserts, and that includes some of Becky Higgins branded, and then also Allie Edwards. So I really want this insert just really to be about homecoming, and so I'm thinking that I need a title card, and then I'll maybe write one that has a little bit of journaling on it. And so I'm trying to decide what I want to do, and what I end up doing is pulling over the stamp set that came from Studio Calico. I believe it came in August. It's got this really great line alphabet, and then some block letters that go with it. And so my initial thought is I'm going to do homecoming stacked together, and I thought I would do the home, and then the come, and then the ing, and then the 17, but that didn't really fit, right? It was 13 letters, so it wasn't really fitting, but I thought maybe I could, just stack them up and do 4 in a row, and then not do the 17. So that's kind of my initial thought. Now, one of the things that's really great about this stamp press from Fiskars is it's got this grid, and so it allows you to maneuver the letters around and get them just right. So you can see that I stamped it off on a scratch piece of paper just so I could see that it was, put on correctly. And then I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it down again. But as I'm doing it, and as I go to swap out the C so I can do the come, I realize, wait a second, there's no E in come and homecoming. So I actually write it out just to make sure that I'm okay. Sometimes I never know. I could totally be off with my spelling, and I often just have to write it out. And once I wrote it down and counted it, I realized there is indeed 12 letters and digits when it's homecoming 17. So I rethought my whole thing, and what I decided to do was go with 3. So it's going to be 3 or 4 rows with 3 digits or 3 letters each. So that's how I decided to do it. Now I could have done the 4 letters because with 12, that obviously would then be 3 rows with 4. But I decided to do the 3 because I didn't want it to look like there was like actual words, like home would be a word. And then I didn't want it to look like that. So I thought it would be better with 3 and then have them stacked up that way. Anyway, so my camera cut off, and I was filming so much this day that I think I filmed 2 Project Life spread and then a scrapbook layout. And so the layout and week 37 is going to be on Allie's site. So if you're interested in that, definitely check it out. So I had to wait for my battery to charge, which was actually kind of annoying. But in the meantime, I actually finished writing the word, and then I waited so I could show you how I did this. So I just, in the stamp set, it's got the lines, and then it's got like the bulk or the block letters. And so I decided to take those block letters, and I'm using Coral Bay. This is Studio Calico dye ink. And one thing that's really great about Studio Calico inks is they've got really great second generation. So when you stamp it once, it's really dark. And then when you stamp it again, it's lighter, but it's still a really good impression. And so that's what I ended up doing because I didn't want it to be too dark. I wanted it to be kind of lighter. I thought it worked really well with the photo for the title card. It kind of brought out that coral, and then, the coral in afternoon. And so there, little bits and pieces. I just thought that like it would all kind of tie together. And then I'm adding an Avery tab onto the end, and I'm grabbing over some Allie Edwards stamps. These actually came way back in the day from Technique Tuesday, but I think she has a product on her website that's kind of a roller stamp that actually has these stamps, the same type and everything on the roller. So check that out. I'll have it linked below if I can find it. And because Allie's ink, I was using Allie's ink. It's that dark navy blue ink. It's a pigment ink and it's pretty wet, so I wanted to wait a minute. I even turned it over and kind of laid it out so I could see if I could get some of the ink off in order for me to just go ahead and put it into the slot. So the last thing that I did is, as I'm standing there moving things so you guys can kind of see what this spread looks like, I just feel like there's entirely too much writing on the right side, and it was bothering me. And that's when I realized that the favorite places card, that I had done something very similar just a little while ago. Sometimes it's hard to remember exactly what you've done. So I saw these cards sitting on my desk. These cards came from in a creative bubble, and I decided to cut it out and stick it in there. I thought it'd be really nice. It was bold and navy and white, and I just thought it would go really well with the spread. So one thing I've noticed with her cards is they're not a true 3x4, and it kind of drives me crazy. I don't know if any of you have had experience with her cards, so I don't know if I'm doing something wrong when it prints out, or if they're just not a true 3x4. So I was printing out the PDFs that she had created. So I think what I'm going to need to do is go in and just print out each individually, and then I can, make it a 3x4. Anyway, if you have any suggestions for me, maybe I'm doing something wrong, that would be awesome. All right, you guys. So this is my spread for this week. I really hope you're able to get some inspiration. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. That helps me a ton. And if you have not subscribed, definitely do, so you can get updates when I put new videos on my YouTube channel. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. We will catch you in the next video. Bye.